Hello, 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 hello.
I hope you enjoyed the tea break. Welcome to the second technical session of second day of International Conference. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Professor Sushil Kumar Datta sir, President of Zoological Society of Odisha, to chair the session. I request all the speakers to kindly restrict to the time as we are already running behind the schedule.
I would like to invite Dr. Umakanta Mishra, Professor at School of Advanced Science, Fellow Institute of Technology Fellow. In uh, his research area includes supply chain, circular economic, inventory, renewable energy optimization. His academic record is MSc, MPhil, and PhD in mathematics at Sambalpur University, Odisha. He has post-PhD research experience. He pursued his postdoc at the University of Monterrey, Mexico, and his second postdoc at Sopo University, Taipei, Taiwan. He has received Standard National Indonesia Award. He published more than 46 research papers and also published more than 20 papers with high impact factor. He has 2 Australia patents published. He taught in 6 international conferences and visited Mexico, Taiwan, New Zealand, Malaysia, and USA. He is in the editorial board member of Journal of Industrial and Production Engineering, Taylor and Francis. He reviewed journals like International Journal of Performability Engineering, Computers and Industrial Engineering, Journal of Cleaner Production, Annals of Operation Research and Energy Journal. So let's welcome him for his talk on the topic, a circular economy model for smartphones with product recovery, controllable emissions and waste.
Kind of talk. Okay. Quite interesting because the majority of you are using a smartphone. The ladies and girls, okay. We all are experts. So without mobile smartphones, our life is in the hell. Okay. So better to listen very carefully what Professor talked about.
Is first of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this prestigious international conference at Utkal University. So I'm alumni of this university. I completed for my graduate degree in 2001. So after that, I follow many things to get these types of opportunities. So already told about me. So currently I am working in Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore campus, and all of you know about my university ranking and all. So basically our university, they are focusing the research. So therefore our university ranking, it's good within 10 in NIRF ranking, best research institute, 10th best research institute, only for the research and funding. There are many faculties having more than 200 projects from government as well as international funding. So also I am trying to apply one funded project with a Indo-Taiwan. So that is under processing. So my background is especially pure mathematics. But you can say that how you are working related to environmental science. Because if we think about only our backbone subject, it is too difficult to publish or to get a project. That's why I thought I have to do something with my own background. Therefore, I choose the circular economy. I'll tell you about the circular economy and supply chain. Supply chain, you know, application many supply chain like food supply chain. Many supply chain is there. So we used circular economy. And after developing one model, we are trying to solve or validate our model through subcomputing or through mathematically. So already told about me. So this is one of my work. Many work is going on. My students are working with me, and many foreign collaboration I have. And from in Europe, USA, especially Mexico, my mentor is there. Always arriving night time. Even I am not respond, he will call, and I try to receive the call by that time. So sometimes I am not sleeping well in night time. So this is one of my topic, like a sustainable circular economy smart mobile phone model with product recovery, emission reduction and waste reduction by 3R technology. I will tell you about the sustainable and circular economy and how we use these things in a smart mobile phone. Okay, and what the requirement for circular economy? Because of the traditional model having only linear model. So why use circular economic? So I'll tell you circular economic if you use what are the benefits. So this is the introduction, because the backbone I told you optimization. Optimization we can use in any research area like biology, biotechnology, because I am now entering life science and chemical engineering, because my target to introduce more research subject like transdisciplinary, because the journals are asking transdisciplinary work. So the application of the optimization and traveling salesman form, basically we are using supply chain management, and also application is image processing and all. So this is the preliminaries supply chain. All of you know that is a raw material transferring them into semi-finished and finished product and delivering them to end of the customer. That is a small definition of supply chain. And optimization optimizing supply chain. This supply chain is related to that mobile smartphone supply chain. So to reduce the waste, my target, how we reduce the waste after using the smartphone, because after suppose we are using like 4 years or 5 years of mobile, then we are just throwing to dustbin. So why we throw it? We have to think about before throwing or before something doing. That's why my intention how we reduce the waste. So this is the goal, the sustainable supply chain. Everybody know the definition of sustainable supply chain refers to attain of the farm to address the environmental. And my goal of the supply chain is to produce effective demand fulfillment, drive excellent customer value and others for supporting the financial success. So how to transfer supply chain to a sustainable supply chain model? So all of you know about the greenhouse problem, greenhouse gas emission, whose global warming and the introduction of carbon policy is way to the sustainability. First of all, we have to know about carbon tax policy. So any company, like production company, organization has to pay tax because company will produce the carbon. So everybody know. So for carbon producing, the company should pay the tax. That is your carbon tax policy. So what is carbon cap and trade policy? So it is the threshold level of carbon emission, suppose known as the carbon cap. If the company emit less carbon emission through reinvestment by planting some tree or something like that, so definitely the carbon will reduce. If the carbon will reduce, government will pay, or government will some utilize the carbon, and if the company want to emit more than carbon than the threshold level, then they can buy extra amount from their company. So this is the carbon allowance. That is carbon allowance certificate or permit that satisfy the legal and authority to release 1 ton of carbon dioxide or an equivalent greenhouse. So this is the math that is carbon allowance. CA we noted that one, that is the tau of CCAP. Tau and CCAP I mentioned here. So that's circular economy. Circular economy is the model, production, consumption and reproducing the consumed profit after it is distributed. So we are using some here 3R technology. Okay, many technologies there, but we use only 3R, means R, everywhere R. R for refuse, R for reduce, reuse, repair, then re for remanufacturing, repurpose, recycling, recover, energy. So from many are there, but we are using only 3R. That's why 3R technology we are using basically here. That is rework, reuse, and recycle concept to in circular system. I tell you what is circularity. So this is the circularity versus a linear economic versus circular economy. So the top one is a linear economy. That is our traditional system. Still, some countries are also using that top one, that is production, after production, then distribution, then consumption, then waste. After waste, there some countries still now they are not thinking about that. After waste, what we have to do? So there is circular economy. So this is the purpose for reduce up to zero waste. But we are not getting the zero waste, but we reduce the waste. So this is reuse, repair, recycle, then recycling sector, then production again, then distribution again, then consumption in that way, so that we will get the less waste. So some green technology investment, when some product produce in industry, any industry like a mobile industry, smartphone mobile industry. So the company will produce the emission. Therefore, to reduce the emission, green investment. Okay, maybe by 1993 I told you earlier, but other way also for reduce the emission, that is the green technology investment. For waste minimization technology or waste reduction, so company will think about that profit will more when we use waste minimization technology as well as green investment, so company will get more benefit. What types of benefit? Monetary benefit. So here, this is my model. This is our real picture, not copy paste. We designed this model and already we verified and tested the problem is validated or not by using some data. So this is, you see, yes, this is the buyer, then sold the bed, then this is the customer. Thereafter, they use the smart bin. Okay, so here we use some cloud server. Okay, then this is the secondary. After using the new mobile, we'll go secondary. You see. So this is inspection. Suppose we are having some damaged product or damaged product of mobile, then they will inspection. So thereafter they think about reworking, recycling, recycling there, and reuse also there. These are some parts of the smartphone, battery, PCB. Okay, so these kinds of we are using in other purposes. These kind battery, PCB. Okay, how we find by using PCB gold, silver. Okay, and how we use a battery, some processing there. That process after that we go for lithium, some powder types of items. Then it will go again the manufacturing unit. Thereafter the cycle will run up to zero waste. So this is the other model. So and we use here the cloud server when the bin will fully loaded, and it will be going in the industry or to collect the items. So in that way, this is the primary and this is the secondary market. This is the primary market. The secondary market think about reduce the waste. So this is the objective. Already I told you the waste mobile phone using clear concept, using circularity for profit. So next to study the system under investment green to reduce the emission and waste to the minimization technology to manage the waste without any hampering the total profit of the system. Hampering means it will be more profit but maybe some, not less. So these are the some many assumptions, maybe more than 15 assumptions we are using. These are the real assumptions, and that we think and we utilize in our model. So the problem, these bullet point already I told you in that picture, that main picture, that model picture. So these are some mathematical function to validate our system is working or not. So this is a function. That function we have own created function, not copy from others, and this is a realistic function. So this is the HG equal to lambda of 1 minus e power minus theta g, where lambda theta g is there. So also for minimization technology in smart mobile phone industry, waste minimization technology. So this is some function already used there. So rework, reuse and recycling concept of circularity employed in mobile waste management. You can say this system, this model is e-waste management, you can say. So damaged mobile phone undergoes inspection and are categorized as reworkable, reuse and recycling depending upon the utility. Reworkable, that is second-hand product at a lower cost than the original is termed as a reworkable product. So again, reuse, because I told you we are using clear investment, clear technology. So reuse, recycle is we consider, and the benefit of the sustainable circular economy for smart mobile model we designed here. So finally, we have a complexity function. That complexity function we solve by mathematically. We can solve also by soft computing by taking some data. This data we collect on mobile industry that nearby Chennai, I think. My students they collected the data and for validity the model or not. So these are the some observations I have without waste and with waste. So with waste technology we have more profit, and the waste is very less. Waste is very less. Your waste is very high. So and some mathematical programming for finding the optimum point is coming or not. That optimality point we are getting by MATLAB, or you can use Mathematica or any formula. So these are some sensitivities. We are considering some key parameters. Many parameters are there. Key parameters we are using. So these are the observations. See, suppose we are using 3-year investment, we have more profit. Without 3-year investment and green investment, we have a very less profit. So this is the collection of a used product from the customer increase the total profit. If you increase the rate of a collection of a used product from the customer, increases the total profit. So these are the conclusion already I told you 2 to 3 times, and these are the some reference. So thank you very much. These are the appendix. These are my appendix. It may be different. So these are some appendix to check our model is the correct or wrong. Thank you very much.
Anything you want to ask? During long time, interact with Professor. Okay, that is very good.
Yes,
You can take only one question. Anybody wants to know more about mobile transmission?
yes. Micro, yes. Yes.
Like that, like respiration.
Yes, yes, sir. That will sir. That time we are not thinking that your question is it's a very good question. We'll implement it. Yes.
Very good.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. It was very exciting.
May I request Professor Datta to participate? Dr.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Sharvani Giri, Dean, Hargobind Khurana School of Life Science, Assam University, Silchar. Her research areas are mammalian molecular and cell biology, metabolomics, biomarker, in head and neck cancer, genetic toxicology, and environmental health. Her academic records are: she has done postdoctoral research, National Cancer Institute, National Institute of Health, Bethesda, Maryland, USA, from 2005 to 2006. She has done PhD from Assam University, Silchar, in 2000. Her achievements are: she is awarded Indo-US Science and Technology Forum Fellowship 2008 by Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, New Delhi, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. She has received First Track Scheme for Young Scientists 2006 by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. She was invited as visiting scientist for collaborative research on area induced oral cancer in Barak Valley, Assam, India, at the International Radiation Information Center and Department of Environmental and Biometric Research Institute for Radiation Biology and Medicine, Hiroshima University, Hiroshima, Japan, from 15th November to 4th December 2002. She was awarded the Department of Biotechnology Long-Term Overseers Associateship 2004 by Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science. She is going to present her talk on the topic junctional protein as oral cancer biomarker and as potential therapeutic target.
30 seconds I take to give a little bit more introduction of Dr. Sharvani Giri, both from Odisha. Okay. Daughter from West Bengal. And living in Silchar, very close to Barak Valley, beautiful place. Husband was combination professor, selfless, nothing better than this. That is family. Within 20 minutes, as you try to finish, I'm sure.
So I have started my stopwatch. I'll try to be in some time. Thank you very much and very good afternoon, my respected chairperson. I'm really thankful to the organizer of the seminar for having me here and giving me opportunity to give you a glimpse of part of my research which I have done. I have a wonderful team of researchers there, and it's only by their help that I'm here. And today I'll be talking about junctional proteins as oral cancer biomarker and as a potential therapeutic target. Before going into detail about my talk, I would like to give you a glimpse. What is our university? This is Assam University, where I started my career and still continuing. And this is my beautiful department. So spent nearly 8 hours of our day there. And it's a very strong team of workers, and I'm just part of it. And we are going together hand in hand. And what we are is because of the effort of all the members even. So environment, population health in any population, it's basically determined by several aspects, aspects including environment, infectious agents, medical care, genetics, social factor, lifestyle choices. They can act individually, or they can have a overlapping aspect, so that the population health is being determined in any population. And out of that environmental factor, genetic factor, age, risk, and genetic factor, there are several aspects of it. I'm not going into detail. So they play a very, very important role in determining the health as a whole. And oral cancer, because it's a burning issue, and you can see the number of oral cancer is increasing day by day because of the improper lifestyle choices, so which can be improved. So that's why, and the place from where I belong, there are several increased incidents of oral cancer. And one of the things which is very, very important is the choice of chewing a certain kind of tobacco. Now, this tobacco chewing, before going into detail, just for my student friends, I would like to let you know that what cancer is. Cancer is nothing but normal and improper, unregulated mass of cells, which mostly 80% of it develops in the epithelial sheath. Now, epithelial dynamics is based on certain communication. The place where we stay, we have to have a very good communication with our neighbors. Otherwise, the whole dynamic in a social arena, it gets distorted. Exactly in the cellular level, also cell-to-cell communication is very important, and two cells need to communicate properly with each other. The epithelial cell does it very well through different junctional proteins, and there are, so this uncontrolled mass, the gene plays a very important role, because the genes, any DNA damage by this lifestyle factor, by this environmental agent, and now, because of global warming, so many things are coming up. So these genes plays a very important role, and besides that, there are certain oncogenes which make the cells more vulnerable. These oncogenes are target for cancer research, and these oncogenes, they have a role in cell cycle regulation, but if they get deregulated, there can be a problem. So, there are also tumor suppressor genes. All of you must know they play a role in having a normal cellular dynamic. But then, if there is a mutation which happens within the tumor suppressor gene, that can lead to cancerous conditions. So, when the tumor forms, there are microenvironment in the tumor, which is having different kind of cells, like immune cells are there, and myeloid cell, macrophage cells, and regulatory T cells, dendritic cells too. they play a very, very important role in how aggressive the cancer is going to be. So these are very general information which I'm trying to give to make understand the way we do the research. So, age and, even from the, in the therapeutic arena, there are responses and no response. If a patient is treated with a certain drug, certain patient respond very well, certain patient doesn't. So it has been also correlated to certain genetic DNA damage or mutation in certain genes, which means certain persons, there comes the personalized medicine, and also, non-response to certain chemotherapeutic drugs. What causes genetic changes? My lab has been doing lots of work where we try to see that what are the different environmental factors, starting from pesticides to smokeless tobacco to smoking, and then different other pesticides and this BPA and TBT. So these are all ingredients. Some last slide, speaker talked that they are using epoxy glazing to fix the gadget on the back of the turtle. Immediately I told ma'am that epoxy glazings are known carcinogens. What is the health? So anything which we get exposed to, first thing strike in my mind whether it is healthy or not. So there are so many things which can cause, and now this list is ever increasing list, and everything needs to be worked out in detail so that we have a proper guidelines and know that what chemical we're dealing with. Age also plays a very, very important role. We find that apart from certain cancer, many of the cancer doesn't happen in younger people, but then as the age progresses, the number of cancer cases increases. Maybe, apart from those cancer, something is there which is making the aging process and the aged person more vulnerable to that. So, one of the factors which all of us the length of the telomere, and so many research are going on in that area. Metastasis is important because the site of happening of the cancer, where the primary site, from there certain cells they come out, and then they go to the blood circulation through the blood vessel, and they can settle somewhere else. So that makes secondary phase stage of the cancer, and it's become, we can call it as the metastasis. Now, why I told you this? Because these are the different steps of different arena. Each and every point we have variable, and that's how cancer becomes so difficult to manage, because a person can be aged, younger, a person can have certain exposure to certain lifestyle habit or certain occupation. So it's make, or certain type of cancer in certain organs and not in other organs. This makes the whole thing very, very elusive as well as very difficult to handle. If there is a change, does it make immediately can we call it cancerous? No, we cannot. So because there are normal hyperplasia, dysplasia, and cancerous. So you see that there are so many stages involved to become a normal cell to cancer cell. Here we find that cellular architecture is very nice. Here we find that these are all normal cells, but you can see little bit changes because the nucleus size is growing. Here we can see that it is becoming more different, and here we see that the boundary is lost. So cells are now more aggressive. So there comes the question of biomarkers. That if certain cancer happens, what are the biomarkers we will be looking for? What are the molecular markers we will be looking for so that we can predict that one diagnosis is proper and prognosis is proper? So biomarkers, we can call it molecular markers, so signature molecule, which is it's a terminology, very important terminology, and it can be excreted in the saliva or maybe the blood serum or maybe through the urine, whatever. But it should be accessible properly, and it should not have like too much trauma for the person which is going through the diagnosis processes, and some biological state or condition. You should be able to correlate with certain biological state or condition. And often either through using blood, urine, saliva, or soft tissues. Now, why we use the biomarkers? Biomarkers are used for diagnostic, prognosis, and predictive, as well as for pharmacodynamics and recurrence studies. Prognostic means, is it likely to develop this cancer? The cellular changes, whether it is likely to develop into a cancer. Diagnostic means that what type of cancer it is going to be, and is the predictive means, is this the optimal drug for my cancer? And pharmacodynamics, the major questions is that what are the optimal dose for my body? And reference is that when things are, we are thinking that things are, it is cured, whether what is the chance of return. So biomarker plays a very, very important role. So this slide shows that what level we can, go for biomarker studies. The number of research papers which come out in PubMed and the National Library of Medicine over the year 1960s to 2000 still continuing. You can see a tremendous, many-fold increase in biomarker research and important publications which are coming out for different cancer. And coming back to oral cancer, that can be most common site of oral cancer can be palate, that the top of the roof of the buccal cavity. It can be buccal mucosa, it can be base of the tongue, it can be oral floor, lower lip, and all these things. So everything composed of oral cancer. And there is another terminology called the head and neck cancer, which involves other, inside the also pharyngeal region. Important aspect is the gingiva. That means the lining of the gum and the teeth. Then sometimes the problem happens and it goes undiagnosed because people pay very less attention to that. So every time, because it is visually inspection is possible in case of oral cancer, everybody should be very vigilant and have a look at the oral cavity from time to time. There are, as the certain speaker was saying, that it is possible that microbes play a role. That we know that HPV positive people are there, so whether there are so many research which is going on. And one thing is that which hasn't been taken up is that the oral cavity is that whether this tight junction is involved there, the integrity of epithelial cell in the oral cancer. So this is the smokeless tobacco which is consumed in Odisha. There is Buraku, which is made up of lots of tobacco. This is the type of sun-dried variety, and then black cumin seed, and then any seed, and then they are mixed together in a certain proportion, and that is called the sada. It's really mesmerizing smell. The people who consume. And it's really very, very addictive. And most of the time people consume it without knowing even the ill effect, the common people. So which makes it very, very difficult. And there comes the role of our scientists, that we have to inform and educate the people. So these are the papers which we published and first reported the incidence of smokeless tobacco in Borak area, Assam. And this is of particular importance because the global adult tobacco survey in 2016-17 reported that 29.6% of male and 12.8% of female population uses smokeless tobacco. Smokeless tobacco like khali, then zarda and all those stuff. But in our study, we found that, if you see this graph, we found that as much as 52% of the total population consumes Shadabra, and among that 66% were male and 53% were female. So this is a unique situation which we contradict with the group, even Indian studies, but they never considered the smokeless tobacco Shadabra for their survey work. So this is a contribution which has been published, and then we try to see that what are the effects they does on the buccal mucosa. And we found that the basal cell, which is an indicator for the slower transformation towards cellular proliferation, that number increases a lot in the smokeless tobacco consumers. So besides that apoptotic biomarker, there are so many other bionucleated cells, which is the necrotic biomarker. So these indicators were found to be totally unregulated in the exposed population. So we published a paper in 2019, and this is the one we cited the importance of micronucleus. Of course, it was an amphibian from Professor Nilukuri's lab, and we showed that how important that was from CRC, Royal Society of Chemistry publication. This is one of the highest cited paper where we found that this habits, occupational exposure habits, health status, these are certain factors or variables which can have a huge impact on the micronucleus assay. And this is the paper where we directly showed that public health issue concern about the smokeless tobacco, which was 21. And so apart from that, we in the in vitro studies, we looked up lymphocytes from the people who are consumers, and we found that there are highest increase in the number of bionucleated cells and micronucleus cells. So I'm not going into those things in detail. And so coming to the tight junctional aspect, so as you can see here, the protein biomarkers in the tight junctional tight junction, and we can see these are transmembrane protein. One is claudin 1, occludin, and junctional adhesion molecule. Adductor molecules are also there. Besides that, there are certain adherent junction called the cadherin, and so E-cadherin is the more precisely. Z01 is a molecule which can act as a transcriptional factor, as well as they can play a very important role in the structural integrity of the tight junction. One tight junction, once again, their function is a control for paracellular diffusion of ions and certain molecules, and play vital role in maintaining cell integrity. Tumor cells are frequently exhibit compromised tight junctions. In many tumors, it has been found. Even my work in UC Berkeley, I found that in endometrial Ishikawa cell line tight junction is completely disrupted, and in oral cancer, nothing has been done as the tight junction is concerned. So we took up this, and this is the paper in PhD cell biology, where we found that HER2 as well as Z01 is a component of the tight junction. They get totally disrupted. This is more precisely at a glimpse that increase the component, one of the alkaloid of smokeless tobacco, and as well as this one, as we increase that, there is a complete disruption of tight junction after 24 and 48 hours. There are lots of Western blot study and protein biomarker study. I haven't included that. So Pooja Upadhyay, she is now in postdoctoral fellow in Ohio State University, and she did as a thesis. She did this excellent work on. She developed a mouse model and with the oral cancer, and she found that different categories of well differentiated, moderate differentiated, poorly differentiated cell in the tongue of cancerous mice, as well as in case of human beings suffering from different conditions. So our study involved human subject as well as mouse test model. And this is the transmission electron micrography, which shows that in the control, as you can see, in between the two cells, the integrity of the junctional integrity is very intact, whereas in case of foreign Q, as well as oral cancer studies, it has been completely disrupted. As you can see here, this is the tight junctional proteins, and here, as you can see, it will be completely disrupted, leading to oral OED as well as oral cervical carcinoma, oral squamous cell carcinoma. Immunohistochemical assay of protein enzyme in control mouse has been found that it is localized on the upper epithelial layer, but not migrated towards the basal layer. Whereas in OEG, that is peak acceleration, it has been found that the brown stains are now going from the cellular outermost layer to it is migrating toward the nucleus. As well as in case of OHCC, we found that this is completely disorganization, and it is increasing the intensity, is increasing its intensity. So, relationship between Claudin 1 and clinico-pathological feature we could not find any, but then pathological grade and Claudin 1 it was statistically significant. Same thing with GEM-A, junctional adhesion molecule also. It was found a similar trend, as you can see, that in case of oral epithelial dysplasia and oral squamous cell carcinoma as compared to the control. These are all human studies, and there is an increased expression of GEM-A protein. Relationship, yeah. Here also we found that pathological grade and expression has an acceleration. As far as the death of the individual, we found that those patients who has expressed or increased level of this Claudin 1 and GEM-A expression in oral squamous cell patient, their death is more earlier than those patients who doesn't have that. So this is also one of the significant findings, and this paper has been published in Journal of Cellular Biochemistry and by Jan 2000. So we shifted our target or interest towards the saliva. If in the saliva something is getting present, and we can capture that. And we found that N granulation controls the function of adhesion molecule A, and here we found that intracellular domain of the GEM-A has a N85, there is an N glycan, and junctional integrity is dependent on this N85 amino acid. When there's a condition, this N185 comes out in the saliva, and we find that loss of various function in OED and fluorescence. So this is also one of the significant discovery where we can capture the N-glycans in the saliva, and you could say that yes, this is the one which is related to the different pathological or upgrade or gradation of oral cancer in different stages. So this paper was another paper which came out in oncotarget. There also we see that epithelial true mesenchymal transition is associated with some other molecule which is of digestion integrity, and so coming to a little bit different aspect of the study, which Aparajita has been carrying out since last time, and which I did in NCI with use of lots of mass spectrophotometric study. We could identify ericolin is one of the major ingredients of the erica nut, and major ingredient alkaloid of erica nut, and we could unveil the total metabolism of ericolin in the mouse urine, and we could the public classification, and we could, of course, identify the biochemical pathway which is responsible for this metabolism. And we found that flavin monohexagenase, which is a liver-specific P450 enzyme, and which is responsible for metabolism of this ericonin, is the major culprit of metabolism of ericonin, to convert ericonin to ericonin N oxide. So this N oxide of ericonin is responsible for very many toxicological impact, and maybe some erica specific nitrosamine or tobacco specific nitrosamine, or maybe certain other factors get generated very transitionally and responsible for the total destruction of the cell. That part is yet to be covered. And this is Aparajita. She did it, and she had an excellent review article on this, where she did the whole reviewing of the current status of the study. And so, can you take it over? These are the group of people. I'm not taking more time. Many of them are here today, and all of them are very well settled around the world, different employed, and so I'm really proud of them. I'm here today because of them only. It's really teamwork and very success. It's just my dream, and they fulfill my dream. So that's all. I'm thankful to the funding agencies for their constant support, and so any questions?
So thank you, madam, for your nice presentation. So I want to know one thing, that whenever the genotoxicity or genotoxic potential of any pesticide or a chemical is tested, we generally adopt different methods. Microreactors assay, recombinant assay, chromosomal assay.
Yes.
So as per your suggestion, which will be a better one and easier?
So this is really important question. When we study the genotoxic parameter, I think there are different methodologies. The most important is to screen is the micronucleus assay, in my opinion, and followed by the chromosomal aberration is also can be done in a proper way in human as well as in animal test model. That is the better one. But there should be nowadays you have to screen a lot of exposed cell within a very short time. So comet assay also has come up, and also sister chromatid exchange was there, but then there are certain limitation of itself. But I think micronucleus as well as confirmatory test as a chromosomal assay, and for better and rapid screening, comet assay. These are the internationally accepted method of, and that depends upon the sample you are studying and as well as the target organism you are working with. Thank you.
Hello.
So may I request Dr. Lata to felicitate Dr. Giri?
Yes.
Oh.
It is story between me and Professor Savani. Years after the retirement, okay, I was like a beggar, I was searching for another job. No. So, our university wanted, my sister wanted to hire me as a professor. He was professor in head. So, I'm lucky that somebody interviewed me. Okay, and I got selected for that job. But I had some I never worked. I couldn't form, but yeah, because I had a commitment.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Professor Vishnu Prasad, Professor, Sri Sri University. His research areas are the biology and molecular pathophysiology of sickle cell hemoglobin disorder and beta thalassemia patient of Odisha. His academic records are MS3, MPhil, PhD in Life Science from Sambalpur University. His academic achievements are: he is an active member of International Union for Conservation of Nature, Species Survival Commission, Horseshoe Crab Specialist Group. Under him, 9 scholars have been awarded with the PhD degree. He has published 6 book chapters and more than 100 international and national research papers. He has executed several research projects funded by Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, around 29.65 lakhs, around 10.4 lakhs from University Grant Commission, Government of India, around 8.64 lakhs from Department of Science and Technology, Government of Odisha, and 15.64 lakhs from Defense Research and Development Organization, Government of India. He is the project coordinator of Department of Science and Technology, Fund for Improvement of Science and Technology, and Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics Facility Projects of the department. He is acted as the group leader component Bioresearch in the Government of Odisha. Worldwide funded the Centers of Excellence project functioning at the Fakirmohan University, Palestine. He is going to enlighten us with the topic recent technological advances in hemoglobin research. Please.
Thank you for this nice introduction. And I must thank the managing committee, all the members, department of the university, and my colleague, Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Das is here, all the respected members, and dear friends. In the very beginning, Chairman has said it take only 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you can finish it so that we can go for lunch, because after that some other member is there. Anyway, I will restrict to within that time. So I'm not going into detail of my work, what actually I did for last 3 years or 6 years. But as for the mandate of this particular how this innovation, technological innovation, and we are progressing fast and to have a social responsibility. Unless you do some work which is not relevant to the society, there's no meaning. So that's the basic thing. How you can see, just I am putting a example only. In the morning session, one of our Dr. Tripathi from the Polar Research Center said about releasing of oxygen by the factory plant. Anyway, oxygen is there in the atmosphere, but we have certain things. The atmospheric oxygen cannot go into our tissue unless you have a molecule that is known as hemoglobin. And that is the way we are surviving only for that molecule, who is helping us taking the oxygen from the atmosphere into our cell. That's why all the cells are one. I talked about that only. So this is that molecule. Everybody is aware about this. I'm not going into detail. You can see like metal protein, alpha chain to beta chain, and so many amino acids. You can see how these structures have come out. It's again the technology which helps to know this structure. And for your information, each erythrocyte contains about 270 million hemoglobin. And we have 4.5 into 10 to the power 9 number of RBCs. So how much hemoglobin you can say they are providing. And why somebody is interested to have this? You can see a statement from the chemist. We are talking about the biological function of the hemoglobin, but you can see the contribution of the chemist. This hemoglobin is the some way the most interesting of all. And you can see why. It is a good substance from the standpoint of a chemist because it's available. How you get it? You can get out any person. Today you get syringe, pull out some volume of blood, separate it, and go for the analysis of it. That's how easy it is. So you can see the discovery from 1840. How they observed this. They were just seeing the blood and put it into the slide, put a cover slip, and then just added certain things. Some sort of crystals were active. And those crystals, later on it was known as the hemoglobin molecule. It was named by Phyllis Stopper in 1860. 1840, 1864, they named that particular substance. Then you can see, around 1870, the Claude Bernard discovered the role of oxygen. It was not known before that whether this molecule is helping for carrying out the oxygen or not. Subsequently, the discovery three-dimensional structure of X-ray crystal credited to Max Sorel, and these two persons got the Nobel Prize for this discovery. These are two left side, one is for the myoglobin and the hemoglobin, muscle hemoglobin, and the blood. So this is the basic crystal structure. This is what different types of, you can go for the different analysis, modeling of protein structure. We are now the protein structure of the protein, nothing else. But the thing is that you come to how it is functionally or its health in our body, and at what stage, what sort of hemoglobins are produced. From embryonic stage, the prenatal age to the postnatal age, and see in the embryonic stage, there is the zeta and epsilon, which is equivalent to the beta globin chain of the adult hemoglobin. And in embryonic, then it comes to the fetus. At that, the dominant hemoglobin is fetal hemoglobin. And it is again alpha and gamma. The gamma is equivalent to the beta chain of the adult hemoglobin. And similarly, the production after the birth of the child, 6 months, within 6 months, the fetal hemoglobin reduces its substrate and dominated by the adult hemoglobin. If there will be any change in this switchover mechanism, that leads to different types of abnormal hemoglobins. And the problem we are facing. Previously, it was thought that the hemoglobin is only confined to the vertebrates and certain animals, but it is throughout present in plants also. Okay, in the leg hemoglobin is there. And now see, not only the RBC contains the hemoglobin, The similar type of things are being macrophages, everything, lungs, retinal pigment, epithelial cell, mesangial glands, right, human hepatocyte, nuclear, endometrial cells, cervical cells. Everywhere, hemoglobin is expressed. And it is again known by the from which, because the protein, some genes are responsible, and it is see the binding pattern of the chromosome. That techniques help us to know identify where the hemoglobin gene is. And this you can see the chromosome 11, the beta globin gene is there, 11 for P15.5. Similarly, the alpha globin gene, you can see this is the location, and this is what actually normally whatever the alpha chain will synthesize, that much of beta should be. Otherwise, the whole hemoglobin molecule will not be complete. If there will be any proportional difference, suppose alpha is synthesizing 100 numbers, beta is only synthesized about 60. So that means 60 alpha and beta will join, you will have the normal adult hemoglobin, and the rest of the alpha chain, they will put into the RBC during the development, and they will test the RBC. That will be premature testosterone levels. So that's why this proportion always should be balanced, and different stages of the human from the conception to the adult, the switching out mechanism going on. It is regulated by the genes. And based on this, so far, more than 77% of the world population are carrying this type of defect. And about 3 lakh infants fall with abnormal hemoglobin diseases. And in Odisha also, we have number of such type of abnormal hemoglobin disease cases. And in Western Odisha and in coastal Odisha, there is two difference again. Most of the beta thalassemia cases are confined to coastal Odisha, and majority of the sickle cells are in the coastal Odisha, starting from Deccan up to the Gujarat throughout the central belt of India. These are the different forms of the abnormal hemoglobin. More than 1,000 human variants have been discovered so far. Based upon this electrophoresis technique and other HPLC, and you can see the magnitude of the problem, and among them HPS, HPC, D, E are very common, and others are the structural. These are the structural variant. Another is the synthetic variant of synthesis, abnormal in the synthesis, rate of synthesis of the change. This is the magnitude. You can see global magnitude. All these abnormal hemoglobins, mostly it is confined to the malaria endemic area. So that's why there is a hypothesis, but the more malaria prevalence is there, more such type of genetic problems are there. But it is only because those are the heterozygous, they are somehow resistant to malaria, falciparum malaria, not the homozygous cases. Then one of the precipitating factor is the malaria. The sickle cell cases, disease cases are dying of malaria, but the traits are the survivors. So that's the more number of traits will be in population, the marriage between traits increases. And that's why the gene fitness they are maintaining at high level. Already explained this. You can say what happens if somebody is having such type of defective hemoglobin. There's a 15-year-old boy, but you can see the growth retardation, liver enlargement, spleen enlargement, severe anemia, transfusion dependent, monthly twice, thrice, he has to be transferred. Then the knowledge came how it goes from one person to another person. That in any way, the hemoglobin gene cannot be transmitted by any other means except from the genetic way. From parents to the offspring only. That's the only possible place. There is no other chance of going into the other field. This is how the technology comes in us falling. You can say epoxyhemoglobin after electrophoresis. How we can differentiate between these cases? If somebody is having a normal or a trait from this type of electrophoresis, will tell you, this chromatogram will tell you who is what. Again, you can see two contributions on this hemoglobin field. Specific chemical difference between globins of normal human sickle hemoglobin, it was found that it is only the one amino acid substitution at the 6th position from glutamic to the valine change that was detected by the chromatographic technique. This is what happens actually during this deoxygenation stage only. The hemoglobin molecule comes in contact, not in other time. If oxygen availability is there, even if RBC is having sickle hemoglobin, that will not sickle. That's it. Only during the deoxygenation period it induces such type of problem, and it's a polymerization of sickle hemoglobin. This is what happens. You can see from normal vehicle cell to sickle cell, and you can see the problem, how it blockages the microvessels. Every organ system will be affected by this. Your brain, liver, heart, whatever way. This is what you can see. Simple from microscopic study, the knowledge came. You can see the last sickle red bloods. You just take one drop of blood, put 1 drop to 2% sodium metabolism. Seal it properly, keep it for 1 hour, 2 hours, see under the microscope. That's how you can see if somebody is having sickle hemoglobin or not. Microscopy, you can know, yes, it is there. Then you can go for the hemoglobin electrophoresis, you can see the bands are there. Based on the pattern of the band, you can differentiate who is having what type of hemoglobins. And you can see also acidic electrophoresis, because certain hemoglobins are there, migrate to the same position in alkaline. So that's why electrophoresis, acidic, then that's a 2 type of electrophoresis help you to diagnose. And there is a picture of the thalassemia case. You can see how the blood picture is. More advanced, you can see your DNA analysis. You take the DNA sample, go for a restriction and enzyme analysis, and see the bending pattern, electrophoresis pattern of the DNA band. That will also give you the help. And techniques. And coming to this one advancement now, so far we have thought of whatever is there, we cannot do anything. You can see here is a paper. It is 2004, a recombinant human hemoglobin with anti-sickling property greater than fetal hemoglobin. Not only that, we know how to manipulate the gene. That gene therapy technology, and we have revised the cloning vectors, and by successfully have introduced into the different mouse model, and they have produced anti-sickling hemoglobin also molecules. We can synthesize different types of hemoglobin with this technique. Not only that, you can see site-specific gene correction point mutation induced pluripotent stem cells. How to split the pest? So that's why if you take any blood transfusion is the one solution, but that is not the cure. So that's why you have to go for the gene therapy. And if you take a gene from or any sort of cloning vector, that may create some other problem into that patient. That's why if you take a cell from the same individual, and you take the stem cell, you can make that stem cell into induced pluripotent stem cell, then correct that stem cell into normal, then grow that normal stem cell of which can produce normal RBC, then transplant it. Then the problem will be solved. And that sort of things have already been taken place. Now, 7 patients have already been treatment has been given to the patient, and they're surviving, and they're coming up good result. This is another one also. You can see they have treated the human, they have first transgenic animals they developed, so that in that mouse model, because hemoglobin is a human hemoglobin, so that physically is not the problem in other animals. But how to go for the gene therapy? Before that, we can have a transgenic mouse model. So that has been developed with sickle mice, transgenic sickle mice. Then you can go for gene therapy and have shown that it is working, and you can receive the normal RBC after the gene therapy. Then comes to, if you go for a population-based survey, so many persons are there, how to identify it? Right now, the gold standard is SPS, which costs about 700 to 1,000 rupees per individual, which is not affordable by anybody. So that's why we have to come up with some sort of technique so that we can easily detect with less cost. That's why you can see, new paper has come out. The paper takes specifically for sickle cell disease. You can see just with the principle of solubility, human solubility. Because all this hemoglobin, due to the different types of amino acids, the solubility property is different. Based on that, you have taken and you will use it with a solution and put it in the filter paper. You can see from that also, this these are the normal, plate, and essence you can differentiate. So that sort of technique is now coming up, and it can be used for field base. Here another one, immunochromatography technique. So here also, it's very less costly. With a time of only 15 to 20 minutes, you can get the result in the field itself without requiring for any instrument, costly instrument, anything. So once this will be standardized, come up with this to the market, and this can be go for a routine screening of the population, so that this year in our union budget also, the specific sickle cell mission was started with a grant of certain amount, and India is targeting to eliminate this problem by 2047. It's a good thing, because when we started working in 87, doctors were asking it's not a problem, why you are working in this life? But today India is accepting, yes, it is a problem, we have to eradicate it, and they are now sanctioning money. That sort of change due to this technological development only. This is another instrument. The battery operated, 8 hours you can run in the field itself, and anywhere you can put it, you can get the result, and 8 minutes it takes for the one case. So that's why this is also one technique they have come up, and this is, and not only that, now people are thinking, instead of invasive, most of the people are young people, they are not willing to go for the blood test because of this pain and fear. But if you can go for a non-invasive technique, everybody will come. That's why you can see, simply using some invasive and non-invasive, we can control. Not only that, it's talking about the mobile phone. Now this mobile phone has been designed in such a way, some software will develop. Through this lightning, they can visualize or even like your pulse oximeter, you can get the hemoglobin result. So that's a very good development now, so that it may help for the anemia moved Bharat, what India is now planning up. This is what, sir, I think I've completed in right time. So any questions? Thank you very much. Any generalized question also? May not be here.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I have a general question that
Yes.
why sickle cell persons are not affected by malaria?
Not affected by?
Malaria.
No, no, it is not like that. I have already told you. All the sickle cell homozygous cases, one of the precipitating factors for their complicacy, anything and death also, it is malaria. But only the rare cases, they are resistant to, because they have two types of hemoglobin in their RBC. Around 60%, more than 60% is adult hemoglobin, and less is the sick level. If the malaria parasite is growing inside, the number will grow. They also consume oxygen. So whatever the oxygen as such you are taking, your RBC is getting. So if malaria population will be more there, that will be more anoxic, so that the RBC will become sickle, and still the membrane will be there. They cannot release their population, they cannot increase their population. This is one of the mechanisms. Okay, so traits are the better than the best.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, anything? Anybody else? Thank you. Thank you.
Professor Datta to felicitate Dr. Dax.
Title state. Associate Professor, Department of Physics,
research area is inorganic chemistry. He has achieved his MSc, PhD from University of Hyderabad. He has handled 4 research projects. He has done from Japan Society for the Promotion of Science. He has done his postdoctoral fellowship, and also from Brain Korea 21 postdoctoral fellowship. Sir has published 34 papers and has edited one. The title of his talk is Breeding Biology of some amphibian species at low and high altitude water bodies of Meghalaya and Northeast.
So we are already late.
And that talk, okay, I think by mistake they closed the next talk.
So this is the what I'm presenting here. So recently we have written a review paper with so part of that work I will present here. So I basically from chemistry background, and I try my best to make you understand that what we have done here. So that from the title that typically lies ET. So this molecule is very well known both through so you can see the structure. So we can see this molecule is made up of 2 nitrogen and 4 gas. So to me it is very easy. That's what it will be. So we used to call it a ligand. So that ligand means these nitrogen sites are there, carboxylic acid groups are there. So these acidic protons and this nitrogen. So they can act as a chelate ligand. Chelate means Krebs clone. So what is that? When you will be reacting this molecule with any metal ions like calcium, iron, lead, or any other tungsten metal ions, they will just kind of bind to this metal and it will just kind of wrap up this metal. Once that metal ion is wrapped up, it will lose all its properties. So that will be a kind of metal compound, or specifically in chemistry language, it will be a metal complex. So once metal complex is formed, that property will be different. So the way that we have done kind of, we are also doing some work on this metal complex. So when we have this kind of 4 carboxylic acid groups, so that 4 proton we can remove and we can make different salts. So that salts will be used in different purposes. So depending on this chelating ability or metal binding capability, its applications are kind of there in biological science. That is one of these applications is chelation therapy. So in which that EDTA will bind to this toxic metal like lead, mercury, cadmium, and it will remove from the body. So this is kind of a prescribed drug for the chelation therapy. Okay, so here just we'll discuss that kind of application of EDTA, focusing on that research development and particularly in that biological field. So EDTA is there, so what we will be talking, but near to that there are kind of different types of chelating agents used in biology. So one is called as deferoxamine, another is called deferriprone, then deferoxylox and EGTA. So EGTA is very close to this kind of EDTA. So we just kind of ethylene glycol spacing, otherwise it is very much similar. Okay. So here you can see that this molecule, this EDTA, it can bind that different metal ions very strong. So that strong means here we have given you one scale in that log scale. So that number you can see is kind of 13, 14, 18, 10, 25. This is for this element. So that means when these reactions are going on, this metal and this EDTA, so it can go to this kind of temperature of this order, 13, 14, 18. So that means once this kind of EDTA is there and it can bind these things, this metal, and it will be highly stable. So that's why we use this stability for this different kind of application. So here also, if you compare this EDTA binding to this different metal and this other kind of chelating agent, so here you can see it is quite good, not always best, but still we take it this EDTA because it is kind of easily available, affordable, and comparatively safer chelating agent. So this is kind of we have taken from the different reference that these things are good. It will bind kind of in better way this EDTA, but still this will be used, and the demand of this EDTA is quite high, 100,000 metric ton, 1 lakh metric ton, and it is used in different applications. Not only that chelation therapy, it is used as food additive. In different food, we use this one. In cosmetic industry, it is being used. So that the demand is very high, and it is kind of produced in the last month. So this molecule is known since 1935. When first it was kind of synthesized and patented in Germany by scientist Munch. Then in 1914, it was started getting applied in that kind of dye industry. So in dye industry, if you have a metal ion, so that color, stability, all those things will be affected. So here they have used this chelating agent or binding agent to remove those metal ions, and that's why so that color will be kind of in a perfect mode. And that was kind of came to this chelation therapy around 1950s. So 1950s onwards, that is getting kind of used in chelation therapy. So now it is kind of one of these kind of pesticide drugs. So how it will be synthesized? So those who are kind of familiar with it, so we have a kind of ethylene diamine group. So first, scientist Munch, he has synthesized. So he has used this simple ethylene diamine, then fluoroacetic acid in sodium hydroxide medium. This is very kind of simple design. So in industrial scale or commercial scale, this process is no more is used. This is being used. So here, kind of ethylene diamine is used along with formaldehyde and sodium cyanide, water. So this gives you that kind of industrial scale that it is here. And this H4, whatever we are kind of writing here, this is to denote this kind of carboxylic acid. So this we can remove and in different proportion, and we can get different salt of ethylene diamine. So what kind of salt? There are kind of range of salt we can get it for the ethylene diamine. So this is that kind of main molecule. So otherwise we can make it protonation of this nitrogen also. So there we can have that kind of 6 proton. Otherwise we can remove 2 proton, we can make it potassium salt. 2 sodium, that 2 proton we can remove and make it sodium salt. This is kind of now commercially available, very cheap in that sense. So otherwise we can remove 3 proton, make it sodium 3, sodium 4, fully deprotonated, even ammonium salt and styrene salt. So some more salts also are known. So this is that way that we can make it different salt, and there are kind of having different uses also. So what actually in biological system it happens when EDTA administered in the body, so it gets distributed and bind to this different metal and make that metal compound or metal complex. That complex is not kind of toxic. That is that kind of a good thing it happens. So when it makes a metal EDTA complex, then it get out from our body through the urine. And for metal or chelation therapy, we use a particular salt, calcium sodium EDTA. So this one we use it. So this is that kind of that biological system. So there are some medicinal applications we take it. So the main application of this EDTA in chelation therapy. So how actually this chelation therapy is and how it works. Let's check it. So we used to get it continuously, like different toxic substances like lead, cadmium, mercury, or aluminum, copper, through different means. So we have kind of like food additives or these other sources, we get it kind of these things. Then it get piled up in our body. So sometimes it kind of, we have the plates in our blockage in our heart. then or some other way that we get that blood vessel with blood vessel, cellular degradation, many things happen when we have a toxic substance here. So when we have kind of a toxic metal ions particularly, then this EDTA or this type of chelating agent, it comes to the rescue. Not only this EDTA actually, there are kind of so many types of chelating agents that we use as a drug. EDTA is one of them. So when EDTA we have taken as a drug, it binds to this metal ion and remove it from the body. So this is the kind of main work it is doing. And this chelation therapy should be supported with kind of different combination of medicine and supplements. Otherwise, it will have a kind of different side effect also. So when we have kind of chelation therapy, it is kind of a effective one in removing this toxic metal because the product metal EDTA complex that is not toxic. Happen, but we cannot use in kind of in different or more quantity. And once it is removed, actually our body revives in that sense. It helps our kind of all immune and circulatory system. And sometimes we take through that injection or sometimes we use it. And nowadays, these EDTA is explored in the field of pulmonary disease because we have blockage. So that blockage now is shown that blockage also can be removed through this chelation therapy. More or less, this is kind of painless procedure and require no hospitalization. So that way, it has some advantage. And here, actually, this is already known. This toxic metal poisonings through these things. So there are kind of range of human elements now getting explored that where we can use this immediately. So all the mechanisms are not known. So there are kind of few examples I recorded here. So like hypertension, blood cholesterol, blockage in the after bypass surgery, cerebral stroke, paralysis, diabetes, arthritis, and decreased memory function, neurotoxicity, chronic fatigue syndrome. So many more are there kind of people are trying that if we can use it. Because once we have in our body these toxic metal ions, so they will be doing many things. So if it is removed, like Parkinson's disease, all those things that I also. So there also that we can get a good result for this kind of chelation therapy. So it has many advantages, but still some disadvantages also there. So let's see. Once we have lead in our body, so once we have lead in our body, so it inhibits this kind of this delta aminobutyric acid dehydration. So once it is not working, then it will get accumulated and it will produce that reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species we know this is that kind of oxide, peroxide, hydroxide, these things, many oxygen species will be there. That will give you kind of oxidative phase and ultimately oxidation will be there. Then protein, lipid or nucleic acid. So this kind of once we have or we are using these things or happening to that cell death, then body will not be in a good condition. So not only for this lead thing, so if you have kind of mercury or those things, cadmium in our body, so this kind of a similar mechanism goes on, and we don't feel a good that these things are there, so they will be doing these things. So when we have lead or some other things, so we put a particular this kind of EDTA salt, calcium sodium EDTA. So we put it this particularly. And once we put it, then this will be kind of chelated or it will be bonded, and this will be kind of, if you know, this is the kind of an anionic complex. So to neutralize this one, there will be same amount of sodium 2 plus or calcium 2 plus will be there to neutralize this thing. The thing is that we put it here calcium, not through that 4 sodium or sodium 2 hydrogen EDTA, because this calcium will balance. If you put a kind of 4 sodium EDTA salt, then it will remove not only that, it will remove the other necessary iron, calcium, all those things from blood. So this particular salt, it is being used in this our therapy for lead one or for mercury one. So once it is there, okay. So let's see that we have few advantages. So it is effective in the chelation therapy or removing that kind of toxic metal ions, and it forms the non-toxic complex, metal complex or metal compound, and remove from the soft tissues, and oral therapy also available. So it has few advantages, but some disadvantage also there. So along with this lead, mercury, all those things, some essential metal ions also will be removed. So that is the kind of difficulty we have. And this toxic effect also there. We cannot take in more amount. Some toxic effect like headache, increase in blood pressure, or sometimes it decrease nausea. So these things also can happen with this kind of chelation therapy. So we have to be careful. So apart from chelation therapy, nowadays people are talking about cardiovascular disease. So in cardiovascular disease, that kind of blockage, whatever we have in our activity. So these blockage actually build up some fat, cholesterol, and different substances like this. So it is found that calcium will be there in this blockage. So that's why we thought that if we can use this PTA, so that calcium, once it is removed, this blockage will be kind of removed, or the disintegration of this hard substance. Once this removed, it will be removed, then this subsequent softening of these arteries will happen. So, but this is still, it is not a test diagram. So it is still going on, kind of exploring that how much we can explore and use these things for this heart disease. Okay, so this is another one. This is actually, it is used nowadays also. So this is kind of a root canal treatment. So when we are having these things, so here once it is a canal or this kind of some digging is made, so there will be some one layer. Layer will be made of this kind of particle. So different inorganic matters means mostly this calcium which will be there. So once calcium is there, so this layer sometimes is called as smear layer. So this layer, once it forms, will have this kind of bacteria. And once bacteria is there, the infection will be there, this antibiotic will not work. So in this kind of root canal treatment, there will be kind of use of 10 ml of 17% sodium hydrogen EDT. So what it does, it will just remove that all these kind of metal ions from here. Once it is removed, then this bacteria growth will not be there, and whatever that antibiotic or medicine will be used, it will be effective in that case. So this is kind of used along with the sodium hypochlorite. Okay, so it is also used as anticoagulant. So the sodium salt, potassium salt, or basically these things. So both these salt. So when we collect the blood for any test, so this blood can get clogged. Let clot this one, we need this calcium in that sense. So if we can remove this calcium from this blood sample, then this clotting we can prevent. So this clotting can be removed by this EDTA. So EDTA is used in this thing. And once EDTA is used, that blood samples also stable. It gives consistent results, measurement of hemoglobin, red and white blood cells, and other parameters. So this right now it is being used. That this year we used along with this blood sample. And this wound healing. So in wound healing also, when we have a wound in our body, so there will be kind of bacteria, fungus, will be there around that. So we have this bacteria and this fungus. So their cell, bacteria cell will be made up of calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron. So these are kind of common metal ions will be present in that. So if we somehow remove this bacteria, then this antibiotic whatever will be used, that will be effective. So that's why this EDTA is used to remove those things, so that all this bacterial cell will degrade and they cannot form that colony. So this colonization of this bacteria and proliferation will be prevented. So EDTA is right now also it is being used. And this is kind of in eye drops also it is used as a preservative. Sodium EDTA is used. So this is kind of it enhance some other preservative effect like this benzyl ammonium chloride. So these are kind of things we are right now we are using. Some other use are getting explored, but you should know that apart from this kind of our application, we have some toxic effect. So that daily dose we should not kind of cross 1.9 milligram EDTA per kg body weight. But how come we get this kind of EDTA in our daily lifetime? If we are using that canned food, so we get maximum from here. So if you have seen prawns, canned mushroom, frozen French fries, even in drinking water, some amount of this EDTA will be used. So this amount can be 250 milligram per kg, quite high in that sense. So when we are using that kind of frozen food, this canned food, we should see that content, how much it has. Or even these things also there in soda or canned vegetables, non-nutritive sweeteners, mayonnaise, salad dressing. So these things all are having this one. So they are kind of putting these things as food preservative. Sometimes they are allowed, but how much they follow that kind of allowed amount, that we don't know. So even we have kind of lot of use in kind of cosmetics. So here few we have done. So it is kind of eye makeup, hair conditioner, shampoo, hair dye, perfume, lipsticks, aftershave lotion, shaving cream. So everywhere that kind is getting used. So shampoo they use it because if you use in the PDTA, so when you are taking bath, PDTA will make a complex with iron, and the hard water will become soft. So that's why we can get more foam. So in soap and shampoo, this is a kind of common content, the PDTA. So this is that PDTA we use kind of in a different things. So there are many kind of uses. So whatever kind of risk we have, so we can use lot of things are getting used in preservative and medicine. But one of the things is that it will give you, if you have side effect, it's a burning sensation, or that severe things can happen with kidney damage and kidney failures. So other side effects like anemia, fever, headache, and lower levels of magnesium and potassium in blood, or even low level of calcium. This is kind of a kind of severe thing. Even diarrhea or vomiting, fatigue, that insulin will not work, or irregular heartbeats can happen. So these are kind of things will happen if you are kind of using or consuming more amount of EDTA. Even EDTA not only here, if you are kind of exposing EDTA to this water system, that also can cause the problem. Okay, so in this discussion, we just give a brief overview of this EDTA and its application. It is a kind of still, it is getting explored in different therapeutic elements. We also should be concerned about this toxic effect. And we have done this work with Jana and Professor Nishaw and Dekoponda. Very much thankful to them. Also thankful to this organizing committee for giving me the chance to present the work. And thank you for your patience to hear this. Thank you all.
Side cosmetics, careful.
So I request Dr. Galata to felicitate Dr. Pal. So after this session with so many interesting talks, now it is night time, we should go for lunch. And we'll try to be back by 3:30 so that we will have a comfortable post-lunch session. Thank you very much. All are invited to Department of Zoology for lunch.
1 hour back.
one more announcement is there. I request all the oral presenters to kindly give their PPTs, the technical